Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in to my super chat. Thank you so much. You give me not only incentive, but I am just very thankful for anyone who supports my voice via live stream or through my Patreon account. Share, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna be an annoying introduction every segment and upload and live stream. Share my Huffington Post article, Hillary Clinton 2020 is a reality, get ready for 8 years of Trump. I was published around 200 times in the Huffington Post. I was published in The Hill, Salon. I was a contributor to The Hill, Salon, The Federalist, The Daily Caller, The Jerusalem Post. And this is one of the best articles I've ever written just because it was 3 years, about close to 4 years ahead of everything that took place. So, Hillary Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. Share that article. It is below. It will be below in the pinned comment. Eric H526 just shared it right now. Subscribe to Bizarro World Goodman. I will have a segment tomorrow, so I'm kind of like doing either one a day or one every other day. But that's going to pick up. It's a comedy channel, and it's hilarious. It's my satire comedy channel. I have wigs, hats, mustaches, sunglasses. You'll love it, and people like it. It's me as the worst embodiment, the personification of a person who just has utter contempt and derangement issues for Trump. So it's just me yelling and screeching at the top of my lungs in a pretty hilarious shtick. So check it out. That's Bizarro World Goodman. And check out H.A. Goodman's other channel, my third channel, where I did a lot of work pertaining to exactly why Hillary Clinton is going to be nominee. So check that out. And I talk about a lot of other things, too, that I don't talk about on this channel. Ladies and gentlemen, John Ratcliffe basically gives President Trump control of the wonderful intelligence community that Democrats just worship. The reason is because James Clapper under President Obama's administration was the man who synthesized and summarized and combined all the wonderful high confident to moderately confident assessments from Comey and Brennan. And Admiral Rogers. And the Office of Director of National Intelligence, the Director of National Intelligence is there to speak for the entire United States intelligence community, to give one voice to all these different agencies. Now, when Don Lemon is like, "Oh, well, what does Trump have with President Obama? What really gets under his skin?" Well, the reason is that President Obama's administration it was the first time we had a peaceful transition of power from Washington up until President Obama's administration, and then the Trump administration. This was the first time in U.S. history when an outgoing president investigated an incoming president. That's never happened before, under the absurd notion that because the intelligence agencies were confident, highly to moderately confident about something, about Russia in this case working with Trump, they had no evidence. The only evidence they had was purchased. The only evidence they had was purchased by Clinton. So if this took place under President Trump's administration and Jim Jordan or Matt Gaetz or John Ratcliffe or somebody got a dossier on Clinton or Biden, could you imagine? They actually impeached Trump on the notion that he withheld military assistance. Could you imagine if he had purchased a dossier with help written by Ukrainian sources? Could you imagine? But they don't. see, they don't have a set value system. Whatever works for them at that moment is what they're outraged over, or it's what they've, they stand on this pedestal of what George Orwell called verbal refuse, with euphemisms and, oh my goodness, believe, except if it's Biden, then don't believe and try to eviscerate in a shameful manner. You have people, ladies and gentlemen, who have completely turned back or completely disregarded their lofty value systems just, a year and a half ago, pertaining to believe. Now they don't believe, but maybe they never cared. But that's the big issue. But John Ratcliffe essentially replaces James Clapper. You had Dan Coates, and now you have Richard Grenell, who's the interim acting Director of National Intelligence. But this is, okay, the left utilized Big Brother. So when they talk about Orwell would not be a Democrat. He wouldn't be a Republican, but he certainly wouldn't be a Democrat worshiping the intelligence agencies, which is even what a lot of progressives do. They're like, well, you know what? It's okay. It's not a big deal. If it hurts Trump, no, it eventually hurts you, because you're not going to get... Democrats aren't going to give you Medicare for all or vote for... They haven't even voted on Medicare for all. Why? Because it's just a tool to get voters to vote Democrat. They don't care about believing. They don't care about Russian interference, because they purchased the Steele dossier. That is the Russian interference. The only interference in working with a foreign power, that happened with Democrats, not Trump. Nobody was indicted on working with a foreign power, and they never impeached President Trump. They never impeached President Trump on any criminal statute. But you go ahead and read Animal Farm or 1984 from George Orwell. It's exactly what, if you hear AOC talk about how everybody needs to be equal and everybody needs to be, and this and unfair, and then suddenly some people are more equal than others. Notice how AOC and everyone in the Democratic Party, whether it's Pelosi with 10 tons of ice cream, none of them understand the plight of people who want to work. Martin, thank you. Thank you, Martin. Greatly appreciated. Thank you. They don't understand the plight of people who want to work for their families. Not everybody has a big savings. Not everybody has a savings where they could just, remain at home indefinitely. Most Americans don't have savings. Most Americans live paycheck to paycheck. This is a fact. If you are not getting a paycheck, how do you pay for your medication? You become a statistic in one of Bernie Sanders' tweets. Then you have Bernie Sanders complaining even more. Well, it's the political party that he sold his soul to that says, well, we can't open up just yet. Look at the New York Times statistics. Over half of all the lives lost are in 3 states. New York, New Jersey, and Michigan. 3 states. And of that, over 40% are in New York and New Jersey. So, and God bless the people in New York, New Jersey, and Michigan. God bless them. Only the best people, only the most amazing people I've ever met in my life are in those 3 states. But they've been taken advantage of by very corrupt Democratic politicians. Jimbo! The left are like the Borg, all of one mind and ruthless. Yeah. That's right. What is that, The Who? The Borg. Is that from The Who? Star Trek. Okay, of course. Yeah, that's right. That's right. They are. You know what it is also? And this is why Hillary Clinton will become nominee. Like I said, nobody is saying that. Jimbo, what they do is they rest upon lofty ideals, A great many people on the left are atheist, but they've done away with religion. Their new religion is politics. So they excommunicate friends, family members who just don't agree with them. And Jimbo, you're 100% right. They all think alike, and they would have you believe that Trump supporters are like, mindless. No, actually, the people with the most critical thinking are Trump supporters. Because to be like, the people on the left say, oh, well, if you're a Trump supporter, you should be embarrassed. You should be embarrassed. Like, no. Because if you're a Trump supporter, you don't care about what Hollywood and what your liberal friends think of you. You don't care because you are fine with their viewpoints. It's like, I have never told anyone, I'll never speak to you again if you vote for Clinton. But I know people who are completely out of their mind and who won't... I just know all Trump supporters know people who will not talk to you, will try to judge you, and it's their religion. Their religion is one of narcissism. It has nothing to do with morality, because if it was about morality, they would look inward, and they would look in the mirror, and they would say, okay, I live by these principles and these precepts, and I will then judge my side in the same manner I judge Trump and Republicans. But they don't. This is the hypocrisy. They don't. And by the way, this is another issue. They don't see a problem with being hypocritical. So you got to understand something. This is why you never discuss anything. Never discuss anything. When they talk about Trump and Trump and Trump and Trump, they never put context or nuance or... Case in point, this is a New York Times article. Malaria drug helps patients improve in small study. They did not put the name of the drug, which was hydrochloroquine. They did not put the name. Why is that? Why is that? The reason they did not put the name is they didn't want any title to possibly help President Trump. So they could denigrate him and twist his words and say, okay, oh my God, he's pushing this and he's pushing that. And he's suggesting that you shove Drano up your rear end, which is another reason why you should subscribe to Bizarro World Goodman, because I'm screeching and yelling at the top of my lungs about all of this. Then on Twitter, you have the enlightened liberals, the wonderful, amazing feminists. Nylons, how could Biden have done that? What is he, Edward Scissorhands? There were nylons. It's the Maginot Line. That's another Bizarro World Goodman shtick. But, look. You look at... You look at the Democratic Party. They don't care. They don't care. They just want influence, political power and influence back. That's it. That's it. John Ratcliffe will not set up Trump. He will not... John Ratcliffe, they go from James Clapper, who was a pawn of the Democratic Party. Well, actually, one of the Democratic Party's henchmen. He didn't care about national security. There's no national security to the DNC getting hacked by Russia. The DNC is a private entity. It's not a government organization. It has zero bearing, zero influence, zero correlation to any lives in the United States of America. You could say, well, they're pushing for policies that help people. So are Republicans. So what's your point? So what? So is the Green Party. You think if the Green Party was hacked by Russia, you think that the Democrats would care? They'd be like, good. That's what you get for being too close to Russia. James Clapper wrote the ODNI report. It's complete nonsense. Complete and utter nonsense. Judgments are based on high confidence assessments that could be wrong. Judgments are not intended to be seen as fact. That's it. That's the wonderful, wonderful intelligence community. And then you get people like Trey Gowdy who are like, oh, well, it just was overzealous policing. Well, where was the crime? Well, the DNC was hacked. Well, you have no clue that you had no link to President Trump. Then why go after Trump? They didn't investigate Dianne Feinstein when they knew that one of her staff was engaged in espionage for years and years and years. So you're not going to have, look, they want a task force panel. They want Fauci and others to testify. That ain't going to happen. The White House is blocking that. Why? Because they're trying to link the people who've lost their lives in all the cases in the United States of America to Trump. But actually, the governors of those states are responsible, not Trump. When Trump wants to open up the economy, they say he has no authority. It's the governors who control the economy and that control the states, not Trump. Well, then what's the deal? If it's the governors who control the states, then why is it that they want to blame Trump for everything? And you see, like, this election is going to show the true colors of people. This is going to show the actual character of people. Their team is losing. Now, I'm telling you, Hillary Clinton could possibly win. I keep telling you this. They're not going with Biden. They were never going to go with Biden. I was the only person to say this and write about this. I was the only person to say this and the only person to write about this. So, but you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where John Ratcliffe is their worst nightmare, but they have no choice. They're not going to be able to stop the confirmation because Richard Burr, who's head of the Senate Intelligence Committee and one of the leading senators, Republicans in the Senate, he was caught with his pants down because of insider trading. So now he's like, I can't be as forceful against Trump. So no one's going to not vote for Ratcliffe. Maybe you'll have one or two people, maybe. But they need three or four, I believe. So once John Ratcliffe is confirmed, you're going to have a whole new ballgame. The ODNI is a very, very powerful, influential position within the wonderful intelligence community that they worship. It's Democrats who got in bed with 1984's Big Brother. It's Democrats. It's Democrats who are the most compassionate people on the planet, yet they don't like Russia. Why? Because they've convinced everybody that they have taken the hardline stance against Russia. How? Because they only signed off on 20% of U.S. uranium capacity. It could have been a lot more. Only President Obama could have vetoed that sale. Why didn't he? And why did Uranium One give money to the Clinton Foundation? Nobody's given a reason. Well, for altruism? Because of their programs helping people? Okay, is that the same reason why countries who eventually got weapons deals gave money? Yeah, for altruism. What about UBS? Oh, for altruism too. And then Boeing? Yeah, for altruism. It's philanthropic endeavors. Okay, what happened to the money in Haiti? I mean, it's so obvious. You have a litany of pay-to-play schemes. And then you have 30,000 deleted emails. And then you have a total of 60,000. So half the time she was doing things that had nothing to do with the job of Secretary of State. And then Comey said there was no intent, but everyone associated with Trump, not only is there suspicion, but I'm sure there was intent. And if you're George Papadopoulos and you delete a Facebook page, then that's obstruction of justice. And if you forgot about Like, when you spoke to Mifsud in an email, well, that's lying to the FBI. Chris Cullen! No one else can possibly raise the money Clinton 2020. Exactly. Chris Cullen. That's the best way I could put it. More eloquent than I could have ever stated it. No one else can possibly raise. No one. Well, Biden, Biden had, like, I guess a good month for him last month. But now this month, who is going to give Biden money? You might as well just, shove money down the toilet and flush the toilet. You might as well just use dollar bills as toilet paper or $100 bills, which would be really unsanitary. But speaking of, they didn't purchase a Steele dossier, and Michael Bloomberg didn't waste $1.2 billion in the Democratic primary just to elect Biden. Biden is a placeholder. Chris Cullen, thank you. Old school dad man. Bottom line is, one more time, H.A. Clinton and who certainly won't be sleepy. Old school dad man, thank you. I think that Biden will likely, although I can't say certainly, will likely pick a vice president, and then they'll find some way for him to get out of the picture, and then Clinton will, and so that he'll be picking Clinton's vice president. I think they're probably going to go with Warren, just like President Trump said. Without Warren, they don't. Without Warren, Biden doesn't win. They needed what Warren did. Old school dad man. What Warren did, I don't know. Could be Stacey Abrams. Could be Warren. Could be Amy Klobuchar. Could be Amy Klobuchar. I have no clue. About vice president. But what Warren did was insidious and vile and nefarious and every other word you could think of. In the beginning, there was Bernie Sanders, who was always going to be cheated and never going to be allowed to even get close to the White House. But he was there to funnel votes back into the Democratic Party. He is a Green Party candidate. It took me 4 years to realize this. He should have built the Green Party and made it a force to be reckoned with. And the Green Party and Bernie Sanders could have used leverage to compel Democrats to pass a Medicare for All bill. And they could have done that, but he didn't. So what Warren did is take away. What Warren did is take away a sizable number of voters from Bernie Sanders. These are Democrats who generally would always vote Democrat, but maybe want Medicare for All. That's not their most important issue, but Green New Deal, they're climate change fanatics. And, President Obama presiding over the largest expansion of domestic oil and gas production. They don't see the hypocrisy there. They don't even know what hypocrisy is. They actually live in a world where they can do anything, say anything, pontificate, judge, and then when they are shown to live not only in a glass house, but that when they're shown to they're basically vegans who eat hamburgers and chocolate shakes and then condemn others for eating meat. That's what they are. But getting back to Warren, she took a sizable number of voters away from Bernie Sanders. At this point, when she took the voters away, they still liked Bernie. There was no animosity with Bernie. Old school dad man. Kurt Leonard! HA Epic Ticket, let Flint come back as DNI, Ratcliffe director. Oh my God, that would be fantastic. Kurt Leonard, I would love that. Philip, Bernie never truly wanted to be president. I agree 100% with you. I agree 100% with you. He never did. Kurt Leonard, maybe in 2016 he did, but 2020, no. Kurt Leonard, HA Epic Ticket, let Flint. Oh, I wish. But old school dad man, Kurt Leonard Phillip, at that point, Elizabeth Warren took away enough voters who were under the impression, in a way, that they could possibly go back to Bernie Sanders if Warren dropped out. That's the key to understanding all of this. The key to understanding how insidious and vile, Elizabeth Warren was, is that the voters she took away were Bernie voters, but they were just more establishment. And maybe they wanted a female as president, and who knows? They liked Warren. They thought she was more electable, whatever. Then Warren turned all of them against Bernie. And then Warren made up something. Well, you said a woman couldn't win. Gossip. They don't have actual crimes that Trump has committed. There are actual crimes that Madam Secretary and Bill Clinton committed. He was impeached on 2 legal statutes, obstruction of justice and perjury. Trump was not. So they try to make everything morally relative. Biden's accuser filed a police report. Okay? None of Trump's or Kavanaugh's did. Biden's accuser has a 1993 call-in from her mother. You can't make up. We can't go back in time and call in on the Larry King show in 1993. You just simply can't go back in time. Can't go back in time. Sorry, Democrats. So and then Democrats added the word credible. Oh, well, it was credible. That's a subjective term. That's your opinion. Jimbo! I'm thinking HRC. Bougie ticket to give her the... No, it'll be 2 women. I'm thinking HRC and Warren, or HRC and Klobuchar, or possibly HRC and Stacey Abrams. But it could be Stacey Abrams and Hillary Clinton, or Hillary Clinton and Stacey Abrams. It could be Hillary Clinton and Elizabeth Warren. It could be Hillary Clinton and Amy Klobuchar. It could be Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris. So I'm not sure about Jimbo. I'm not sure about vice president. I have no clue. I think that Biden will pick a vice president for Clinton, because you better believe right now everything Biden does is exactly what Clinton wants. So when he hands the baton, it's a seamless transition. So they want a seamless transition. They just want a seamless transition. That's it. Jimbo, thank you. So the whole thing's about a seamless transition, which will happen. There's the mentality out there. There's the mentality out there that whenever you hear the phrase, well, Democratic voters would never stand for this, just don't ever, disregard that sentiment. Democratic voters will stand for anything if they're told to stand for something. Look what they're doing. They're not believing, and they're not. What they've done to Tara Reade, if you had done this, if you had spoken like this during the height of that movement, which was about 1.5 years ago, coincidentally around Kavanaugh, or a little bit before, but if you were to speak the way Democrats are speaking now, oh my God, you'd be like excommunicated from existence. But it's okay. They have no value system. Their value system is tied to political power. If they can achieve something politically, they will pontificate and judge and demean and condemn. If they can't, then it's all good for them. It's not a problem. And that's with every issue. You want to know who started the birther myth? It was wrong when President Trump used it, but you want to know who started it and used it a lot more than anyone else? Madam Secretary Hillary Clinton. There's a Guardian article. David Plouffe, President Obama's campaign manager, stated it was the most offensive and shameful fear-mongering of the election. There's a Guardian article that quotes him. And he also stated a second before Trump won that night, there's a 100% chance that Trump is going to lose. That didn't work out. And NPR quoted me in 2015, stating that I would that I said Clinton would lose swing states, and she still will lose swing states. Clinton will still lose. I'm saying it could be close. Depending on how much. Depending on what. If they visit Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, it depends on how. They might very well make the same mistakes again and not visit the states they need to visit. But she has to visit Florida. She has to campaign in Florida, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Ohio. So she has to be in those states all the time. All the time. They have no room to, well, I mean, or she could just be in. Pennsylvania is going to be important, so. She has to win in Iowa. She has to win Wisconsin. She has to win Pennsylvania and Maine. If she does that, it's 269. So. You look at what they're going to do from here on out. This with all of this with Biden benefits Clinton. All of this with Biden benefits Clinton. She's just waiting. There's no reason to rush for Clinton. There's no reason to rush for Madam Secretary. She just waits. She'll just wait. Just, wait. And, that's it. So, let's see here. This is the ain't no future in your front election. The ain't no future in your front election. And, you look at what's taking place. Type in Joe Biden. Just type in Joe Biden right now. Joe Biden. Notice how when it was Kavanaugh, they wanted to just feed him to the wolves, to the lions. But with Biden, it's I was looking also, when you look up articles about President Obama's decisions, even President Bush, you get these almost public relations, like every decision was like responsible. If he fired somebody, if he hired someone, he fired General Stanley McChrystal, and they said he had to do it because he was the president, and he had to. There was protocol to be addressed. This was just from a Rolling Stone article. Just from a Rolling Stone article. Apparently, allegedly, the general and others were quoted as saying things derogatory about Obama's administration. So therefore, President Obama fired him in the middle of America's longest-running counterinsurgency conflict, where he was actually doing a good job. And by the way, General Michael Flynn worked with Stanley McChrystal. Or he was doing a job that was effective. But nobody said, oh my God, the ego. Look at the ego of a man who would just fire a general just based on a gossip from a Rolling Stone article. Oh my goodness, do you see the narcissism? This is another authoritarian, despotic move. They didn't say that, did they? Gee, I wonder why. When it's a Democrat, when it's a Democrat in the White House, the public relations spin, oh my God. The public relations spin's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. It is completely unbelievable. So, oh, Lord. Lord. When John Ratcliffe gets confirmed, it won't be, exactly. The Democrats are all future fronters. Future frontin'. The Democrats have a new song. It's the only future we have is frontin', and frontin' is our only future. And it's by the rap artists Jerry Nadler and Adam Schiff and Hillary Clinton. Actually, they have a rap group called the Democrats. And James Comey is one. You have James Comey, Clapper, Brennan. Well, the only thing they care about is just, Eddie C. Everyone put on social media when the reporter asked President Trump about the 2015. Guess who was president? Winner gets a cookie. Eddie C. Yes. But then Eddie C. Then what they did was they're like, Martin, hello. What they did was they then said, well, the money was sent out during 2017 when President Trump was in office. He just became president. What did you want him to do at that point? Anything he would have done would have been like, oh my God, he's xenophobic. He's trying to take money from a foreign lab away. Eddie C., thank you. So everything that every single thing, every single possible thing that that Trump has ever done has been scrutinized by the most petulant, malicious, maniacal, hysterical, rabid millennial journalists who are like, oh yeah, well, what about this? What about that? No, yeah. And they're like, and Trump has a personality already where he you can kind of agitate him. But that's with any president too. If they treated any president, President Obama, Bush, any president, if they treated anybody the way that Trump is treated, then, you'd get the same type of, you get the same type of reaction. So I mean, they rely on completely altering reality. So now we understand. Eddie C., thank you. Now we understand that they're capable of anything. And to look how they're treating Tara Reid. Look how they reacted to the Steele dossier. Okay? Look how their articles written about Clinton. How we need Madam Secretary. We need Clinton. Exactly, Eddie C., exactly. So let's look right now. So they want to investigate the task force for the crisis. It's like, okay. Then CNN, the price of reopening the economy, tens of thousands of American lives. When does CNN want to reopen the economy? When do they want, when everyone is like, when we're living in like Waterworld and Mad Max, where we like barter gold bars for toilet paper? When do they want to reopen the economy? Just until, coincidentally, because they didn't have a problem voting. We should have named the U.S. economy, and that's not an accurate headline. Tens of thousands of Americans' lives. No. That's a projection, number one. And number two, if you're healthy and you take precautions, you're almost certainly going to be safe. If you have an underlying medical condition and you are older than, or you're around 65 or 60 years old, then you're definitely at risk. That's not an accurate headline. And look where all the lives lost are. Over half are in 3 states. We have 50 states. Why should you keep Colorado closed, or Wyoming, or Arizona, or Texas, when 7 of the top 10 states, Texas is towards the bottom, like 9th, but they have 10 million more people than New York, and they have hundreds of thousands of less cases, and something like 15,000 less lives lost. Something around there. I mean, CNN obviously has the objective of people on the left, when they wanted to vote, they had 5 million plus vote without masks, by the way. Not everybody had masks March 17th. In fact, most of the people voting didn't. Almost certainly most of the people voting March 17th in Illinois, Arizona, and Florida didn't. They kept their primaries going because they wanted to just bump off Bernie Sanders. And they did that. But then they don't want the economy. So what was the price of 5 million people waiting in line? Has CNN ever looked into how many people got sick? Because I'd like to know. Joey, I'll have a faux hawk, hopefully. We'll see how it goes. The second I can get a haircut. So, when will barbershops reopen in California? Let's see. Let's see. It's unbelievable too. Like, they allowed their primary to take place. They allowed 5 million plus people, probably closer to 6 million if you add all 4 primaries, to vote. But they don't want the economy. So they never asked Fauci about his opinion because they know exactly what they would have heard. So it's just interesting. Unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. It really is. It's completely unbelievable. Well, I'm just reading the different phases in California. It's fantastic. Part of this also has nothing to do with safety. Part of this focus Democrats have is just, it's funny too because they don't realize that it's actually backfiring on them politically. They don't get it. People are not going to say, gosh, Trump's America, this stinks. They're going to be like, oh, okay, we know who's making these decisions for political purposes. These decisions for political purposes are being made, and it's just unbelievable. Old school dad, man. 40 plus states should reopen immediately. No data supports others. I agree with you 100%. Especially states that don't have the same issues as New York and New Jersey and Michigan. I agree with you 100%. Jandy, hello. Hello. I agree with you 100%. Old school dad, man. Everything is done under the guise of, well, we don't want to. Gosh, we got to make sure everyone's safe and happy. It's like, oh my God, my hair is gonna grow down to here. Oh, it's your hair. What about people's lives? It's like, no one's going to perish from a haircut. It's like, I don't want to get into it. We'll look back at this, ladies and gentlemen, and we will say that the country did the absolute worst thing it could have done. Look, being safe is one thing. I'm all for being safe. I am all for being safe. I'm all for being safe. I am all for, all for being safe and wearing masks and all that. But at a certain point, you got to ask yourself, okay, this is a bit bizarre. This is a bit bizarre. Like, I don't know. Towards election, come November, people will be able to vote. You'll be able to vote for the political side that doesn't want you to live normally or cares so much about you. I should say, cares so much about you that they allowed their primaries to continue with millions upon millions of people voting, but work no good. Let's look at just type in Joe Biden. Let's just type in Joe Biden. Biden resurfaced View video, said no need to prove case against Kavanaugh beyond reasonable doubt. There you go. There you go. What they should do as soon as possible is get Clinton as the nominee, get Biden out of the picture. Democrats would be more than happy. They're probably waiting for Biden to pick Klobuchar or Stacey Abrams or Elizabeth Warren. Outside chance Whitmer, but I don't think so. But who knows? Who knows? And then they want that seamless transition. Let's see. Let's type in Hillary Clinton. Biden's Delaware records are going to be the Clinton missing emails of 2020. Yeah, both are incriminating. Both are extremely incriminating. Ladies and gentlemen, Angela Goodwin. Angela. The Dems like, geez, Ebola filled leftovers after a process of kosher. Other words, they are nonsense. Angela Goodwin, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's they and you know the interesting thing also is that they're stuck within that paradigm of thought. Like they have to act this way. They have to act this way because it's almost Angela and everybody else. It's almost as if they don't, their voting base will not be in enough of a frenzy and enough of a hysterical frenzy to get up out of bed in November. So they constantly have to spin reality. It's not. Look, Hillary Clinton is going to be the nominee. They are going to lose again. And when they do, it will be very interesting how they react. Give me your thoughts below, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, everybody, to my super chat. Thank you. And I will be back tomorrow morning. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. I will have a segment just in about a couple of minutes on that channel. And Bizarro World Goodman, I'll have a segment up tomorrow. It'll be awesome. And ladies and gentlemen, subscribe to both channels. Please, 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 if you watch this and you enjoy my work, share my Huffington Post article, Hillary Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. Archive it to make sure that, it doesn't ever get, taken down or whatever. I don't know why it would, but I'm just saying. But share that article everywhere because you definitely want Eddie C. Do you believe President Trump will get treason prosecution on the? I don't think. No, not treason prosecutions. It won't be treason. It will not be treason, but it'll be Eddie C. Something like 18 U.S. Code 371, which is what I wrote about in the Federalist, which is if you conspire against the United States government to defraud the people of the United States. So that's what Comey Strzok McCabe did. It was never national security. This is what Trey Gowdy doesn't get. I don't understand this. It was never national security, even if Russia hacked the DNC. That's not national security. Because there's no data that the DNC email swung even one vote. There's certainly no data that people looked at Facebook ads within forums and said, I'm voting for Trump because of this. In fact, back then, when the DNC emails came out, liberals and I'm with her people, that's all you have? That's all you have? So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very, very much to my super chat. Thank you. God bless you all. Eddie C., thank you. And I will see you all tomorrow, everybody. Share my Huffington Post article, Hillary Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. Out of 33 million channels on YouTube, I am the only person to tell you exactly what this primary and this election season is all about. It's been a theatrical performance and a farce and a charade just to get Clinton to run against Trump again. Give me your thoughts. Share that Huffington Post article I wrote everywhere. If you're still on social media, I do not have Twitter or Facebook. Thanks, everybody.